All right. Good morning, you guys. It's Monday. Woo! Woo woo
Monday.
Monday. We love Mondays because
Love
we love
Monday.
our lives and we know you guys do too. Okay. Fine. Maybe there's some things that you don't totally look forward to every Monday. But let's make sure we make it a good day and start it off with a positive attitude. That's our goal this morning when we hang out with you guys. I'm Paula. This is Michelle and Kelly. And we try to make it a point to start our day off with a positive mindset because we want to win our morning. And so we can win our day, so we can win our week, our month, our year, right? That's what we want for us. That's what we want for you guys. So hopefully you guys are joining us in with setting that intention. Let's start off with our symbolic singing bowl sound just to get us in the mindset of setting our minds towards a positive day. What was that?
That was me trying to get on live on the phone.
Oh,
The
I
volume
thought it
up.
was somebody's dog.
No, it was me. That was actually, there's a delay, so it was me going woohoo.
All right. Gosh, hilarious. Good morning, you guys. And after we ring the bell, what we like to do is just take 3 deep breaths in and out. Breathe in as much as you can, and then breathe all of it out as much as you can. Like empty out your lungs. So take a deep breath in. One more. Good. Feels so good. Good morning, Jody. We're
Hey,
glad you're on
Jody.
with us, you guys, this morning. All right, after we do our 3 deep in and out breaths, we like to go right away into gratitudes, keeping it super simple. Don't rack your brain on this one. Otherwise, it's not going to feel super positive. So let's give it a go. Michelle, what are you grateful for today?
I am grateful for little girls that have dreams of being a drummer. So yesterday, I sold my electronic practice drum kit, and I put it on the thing here on Facebook, and I started getting I think I posted it like Friday, and I immediately started getting hits. And they were all guys, and it was kind of like a schedule. Like one guy's like, I want to come now, and I'm like, well, you can't come now because whatever. So some of those things didn't work out. So Saturday, this mom messaged me, and she's like, would you take this price? It was a little bit less, like only $20 less than I was asking. And she says, my daughter has been saving for a whole year to get a drum kit, and she just started lessons yesterday. So I was like so excited. I'm like, oh, a girl's gonna buy the drums. Like it just like it made me so happy. And then she came yesterday to pick up the drums, and we had put them in the garage because with the dogs and everything. Plus, you don't know people, just strangers coming to your house. So she was so excited when I was explaining to her, all the stuff. And then her dad says, because everything was sitting like on the end of my car, and her dad says, hey, what do you got under that cover? And of course he's talking to Armando, thinking it's a car, it must be a man's. And Armando goes, talk to her, it's hers. And so I'm like, yeah. I go, it's a 61 Mercury Comet, do you want to see? And he's like, yeah. But the little girl's face was like, and she goes, that's your car? And I go, yep. And I go, you know what? I go, drums are a gateway to cool stuff. First, you could get drums, and then you come back and see me. We'll work on the car thing. She's like, oh, I'm going to drive in 3 years. She goes, okay, I'll remember. Oh, it was so cute. Like, I was just like, oh, man, it was so cool. So much better than just, not that I wouldn't have been happy to sell them to a guy, but it was just so beautiful. I'm like, man, because when I was little, I couldn't play. I played other people's because it wasn't ladylike, So it was big. It was kind of big for me. I'm still beaming.
When do you care about being ladylike, Michelle?
Well, my parents cared. I'm like, I want to play drums and football. I got piano lessons and flute. I played flute.
There's nothing wrong with flute.
Yeah, you can hit people with flutes. Like, yeah. So.
Well, that's awesome. I love that story. How about you, Kelly? What are you grateful for this morning?
Super simple, a fresh bag of coffee.
All
We
right.
opened up a new bag last night, got everything ready, and tastes super, super good this morning.
Numbers, love it. Okay, guys, I watched a movie over the weekend. It's like a documentary in the IMAX theater called Apollo 11, and it was so good. Like, I know there's been lots of movies about, man landing on the moon and all that kind of stuff, especially recently. But I remember, we weren't alive when Neil Armstrong and Michael Aldrin, I can't remember his name now, Aldrin something.
Buzz Aldrin.
Buzz Aldrin, thank you. Stepped on the moon. That was right before we were born. But of course we heard about it. It's a huge friggin' thing for America. And so it was just so powerful watching how freaking complex. I mean, obviously I knew it was complex, but my brain I'm not a rocket scientist. So I really could never even imagine like how incredibly, and even watching the documentary, you still don't really know how complex it is. But in looking at it now compared to the spaceships that we have today and all the things that we send into outer space, that thing looked like, it reminded me of something like little kids taking tinfoil and putting it around cardboard in their backyard. I mean, it looked pretty archaic for what it was supposed to do, and how many different things, how many layers of changes that it had to go through to get all the way to the moon and back. Like, okay, this piece we just need to take off and get into the sky, and then we drop that off, and then we got to go into this transition. We drop that piece off, and just like pieces falling off all throughout. Like, there's a million things that could have gone wrong, and have obviously in the past with the other astronauts who died trying to figure out the rocket technology to get to the moon. But it was just so, it was just so well done, and it made me just like well up with pride for mankind. American too, American pride as well, since we pulled that off. But more than anything, just the potential of mankind to do something so incredibly epic, like crazy epic, like just beyond what anybody could have imagined that man could have done. And it was just so interesting. This is actually not super light; it's kind of deep, actually, in terms of.
I was gonna say, and my coffee. Cheers between you two.
I was just so grateful. I got teary-eyed. It wasn't even like a sad movie or anything like that, but I was just like welled up with tears, because I was just so proud of man for just like really pushing the limits of their abilities and what they know, and what, to go into the unknown and figure stuff out that had never been figured out before. Right. And to accomplish something so incredibly amazing. And then and I was thinking about my dad, because it sort of made me have like this flash memory of the Challenger when we were in high school. Remember, with the one that blew up with the teacher in it?
Saw that live on. We watched it live, right? Mm-hmm.
So sad, so tragically sad. And I remember being at home watching a replay on the news. I just got home from school, sitting at the dinner table, just having a snack, an after school snack, and my dad was home, which was unusual for him to be home at that time. He didn't usually get home for a few more hours. But he was standing there, and just so happened that where I was sitting at the dining room table, I could see the TV, but he was standing right in the way of me being able to see the TV. So the news was playing that clip of the Challenger exploding, and I was trying to like look around. I'm like, Dad, move! You're in my way. I can't see, Dad. And he didn't move. He did not move at all. It's as if I was invisible. I was like, Dad, and he was not like flinching. So I got up and I went over to him, and I stepped up, and I kind of looked around like, Dad, and he was crying. And I was like, what's going on? Like, my dad is like a badass 22 years Green Beret Special Forces. Like, the dude does not cry. Like, nothing moves this guy. Like, he's just like tough as nails, right? And he's sitting there bawling. And I just thought, God, this is something special happened here, and I don't understand it. Like, I don't understand how special this was. I realized that at the moment. And so that flash came into my mind. And then years later, years earlier, actually, I had an earlier memory of when that movie, The Right Stuff, do you remember that? With the astronauts? When that came out, there's this one scene, it's the coolest scene. I play it in my mind. Whenever I think of badasses, I always think of these guys in their big orange puffy suits, walking down that bridge or whatever to get into the space shuttle, and it's in slow motion, and they're just walking like this. And I was like, man, they're badasses. They're going on a mission. And it just made me think of, you know, tough guys. And so my dad, I remember when that movie came out, he tried to watch it and he had to leave. He started crying. And I thought, like, my dad's not an astronaut. I don't know why he's crying. You know, like, why did that come up for him? And I don't know. I have zero proof. But what I do know is my dad was involved with some stuff that was very, you know, high, like top secret kind of stuff way back when, like, you know, decades and decades, like JFK days. And JFK was a huge advocate to push for the space program, right? So I wonder, it just made me wonder, like, I wonder if my dad was connected to any of that somehow. I have no idea how he could be, because he wasn't a pilot. He wasn't any kind of an astronaut or rocket science or anything like that. He was special forces. But I know JFK started special forces. And my dad used to carry a 50-cent piece coin in his pocket all the time. Like, coins in the pocket is a big deal for military. It was always a symbol of something. Again, I was like the girl, and I was the youngest, so I really didn't get to know. I wasn't in the boy club to get to know all this stuff. So these are just little pieces that I was thinking of, but it made my heart just feel for my dad. I just felt like it was my responsibility to be emotional about this movie for my dad, because if he was here, I felt like that he would be just welled up with pride and just have like some kind of deep connection. And so it was really profound for me. It was just a documentary, but it like really totally hit me. And again, that was in terms of just like gratefulness. I was just so grateful for my dad, for the work that all these people did, for JFK to push that, and, you know, for all of that technology to be created, and for man to go out and be adventurous and explore and just accomplish incredible things. That's what I'm grateful for today.
Wow.
Yeah, pretty heavy for me. That was emotional. Kelly, do you want to redo?
Kelly, do you want to cry over your coffee, or?
No, that's okay.
Right?
I don't
tell
think I
a
can
story
top that
about the people who are in Colombia picking those coffee beans.
I like my coffee, okay?
Whatever. Like,
Oh,
we'll hear about it after. Thanks, guys.
All right, so after we do the gratitudes, you guys, and it's not normally like that, just happened that something big happened to Michelle, something big happened to me. I love my coffee too, and that's normally the kind of thing I'd be grateful for, because I really am. Love my coffee. So the question of the day that we like to focus on, one question of the day, just to get us in that power mindset of, you know, just really tapping into our own abilities to create the reality that we want by getting our thoughts lined up so that we can create the actions that create that reality. And the question is, what do you need in 2019 to feel more grounded and secure? Ooh. That one's kind of heavy too. It may or may not be. Maybe you've thought about this already. So it's right there on the tip of your tongue. We'd love to know, again, what do you need in 2019 to feel more grounded and secure? You might be thinking, well, what does she mean by that? What does she mean by grounded? What does she mean by secure? But you fill that in. Kelly, Michelle?
I'll go. This wouldn't be just for 2019. This would be something that I need like every year. So whether I am like going forward with it, probably like I'm more consistent with it now than I ever was before. But for me, it's having a plan. And that's not to say that spontaneity can't come in or things like that, but planning out my year so that I kind of know what it looks like. Otherwise, I'm like everywhere and I get nervous and so for me, the grounded feeling is just is that secure feeling like, okay, this is what I have planned for myself. And not that I can't, divert from that, but it helps me tackle the weird things that might come up. Or, maybe it's even better. I can add that in. Or, I mean, we go as far as like planning family trips, not to say that little trips can't happen in between, things like that. But for me to feel secure, productive, like not too much of the unknown that makes me nervous. So having that kind of plan, and I'm not talking about every little second in detail, but planning so I get things done so that I know I'm moving forward, and that I have both feet on the ground in the direction I want to go, not just kind of like going, oh, okay, like shiny object syndrome, that makes me too nervous to have that stuff around. So that having a plan for myself, whether it's my daily planner or my yearly planner that I work on, just knowing that there's a purpose to my day, my month, my year is extremely gratifying to me.
Ooh, that's a good one.
That is a good one.
That's huge. I need that too. That's amazing.
Right.
Planning is one of my success words.
What she said.
Yeah. Yeah, I got one. Yeah.
All right. So mine's a little bit, I don't know. Okay. So I'm just going to go. So I watched this documentary over the weekend that Kelly and Paula have been trying to get me to watch, and it's called Heal. It's on Netflix, and it affected me on so many different levels. But I think, as pertains to the question, that for me to feel more secure and grounded, I am going to, starting at 9 o'clock, I am going to process some old junk that could be getting in the way of me getting better. And I'm going to start with the trauma of my actual surgery that started the whole mess. So that's happening at 9. It's not going to be public though, but I'll let you know.
That's huge,
Yeah.
Michelle. Super bold as well. So link it to being grounded and secure for us.
Well, I think that, for me, there's a lot of uncertainty and a lot of stress and sadness and worry about still being sick. It's a constant thing. I can't control my symptoms. I do so many things: nutrition, meditate, breathing, stretching, all the right things, massage therapy, like I'm doing gratitude, all of these things right, but I'm still take one step forward and 5 steps back. So I think, that's something I've never tried to do, process the trauma of that event. And just watching that video, I think that is a great first step. And what can it hurt? I mean, I can't get much worse, and hopefully it will help me to get past that. And because I don't ever think, I mean, even though I've forgiven the surgeon, it's like I don't give it any credit because I don't want to dwell on it, right? So that's kind of the way my mind works, is if something bad happened, we'll just move on, right? Just move on. But really, that whatever that is still in your subconscious. And now I understand that, that could be a big block for me. And if I could clear that block and move 10 steps forward instead of 10 steps back, that will be huge. So, and everybody who knows me knows that I will, I'll do anything to feel better. I will do anything. Like, even I try to listen to my doctors, but I also explore all of these other, more holistic approaches. So I'm going to try it, and hopefully it'll be a miracle. I'm praying for a miracle. So,
well, it will be miraculous for sure, in the sense that Michelle will be able to sort of emotionally work through that and not have that negative thing hanging around in her subconscious, right? But in terms of how it grounds you and secures you, Michelle, like make a strong connection to that for me. Like, where do you
Okay,
feel like you're
so
not grounded with that, and how is this going to ground you?
well, I mean, obviously, there's a lot of stress with just being sick and having, these crazy symptoms. So that in itself, if I can move past that and start, take more steps towards healing, that's going to give me a lot more security. It's hard to get up every day, be positive, and work on these huge long-term goals when
Mm-hmm.
when you're thinking all the time, am I going to die? Am I what is the point? Sometimes I feel like that, just banging into the wall. So it's really, even though I have that drive to still be successful and learn and help people, for me personally, I think it will help me feel a lot more grounded and a lot more secure if I knew that I was actually making strides towards being healthier. Because I go through all the motions all every single day, but I'm still experiencing crazy symptoms. So it's almost like if a person from the outside looking in, if they actually saw what I go through on a daily basis, they would be like, why? I'm sure they would think like, why do you keep trying? Or oh my God, are you crazy? You just keep trying. I just don't give up. But there's not a real sense of security in that. I'm just that hard headed, I think, that I'm not gonna give up. See what I'm saying? Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, absolutely. Okay, that's good. I mean, also, I just want to throw in there, like, if you haven't seen that movie, you guys, on Netflix, if you have Netflix and you haven't seen, please go take time to check that out because it's really powerful. And, maybe there will be some things that you don't totally agree with, whatever, but just like go learn, go learn more about what you can do to take responsibility for, being your healthiest version of yourself. You don't have to have some kind of crazy illness to go and get something really great out of that. I don't have any crazy illnesses, but it was so powerful to me. And I, think of it as like preventative learning, learning to prevent things. And mind you, there was tons of, even though I don't have a huge illness, there were so many things talked about that I need to be implementing in my life to get me even healthier. Those are huge health goals. Health goals are huge for all of us and for us three. So it doesn't matter the technique or how they're showing the technique as an example. Sometimes they'll show examples, right, with extreme cases to give us an understanding of how powerful they are. But we don't have to be an extreme case to use these things. So I just thought it was brilliant. So I'm really happy for you, Michelle, that you got that out of that. And that's going to ground you even more going into this year and obviously in the future, because just so you guys know, when Michelle gets more grounded and secure, so do we all, because she brings all that stuff to us and those that she serves. So she's going to be on a mission, exploring stuff. I can just see it now. And everything that she learns,
Like the little
she's going to
wheels,
teach us.
like,
Yeah.
let's go, let's go, let's go.
Okay, so for me, something in this year that I'm going to be working towards, and like Kelly and Michelle said, this is not just about 2019. It just starts in 2019 or continues in 2019 and gets like a little boost because I'm focusing on it more specifically this year. And that is, I guess I would say, more of bringing all aspects of my I'm just going to brain dump on you guys right now because I don't know how to explain it, like in a way that, let me just brain dump on you and then I'll like clean it up. So basically it's just going to be like, I've been working on myself in lots of different ways over the last 10 years. And I feel like this year I want to focus on more of like that sort of spiritual, but I use that word a little cautiously because most people may associate that either with like voodoo, weird foo-foo stuff or woo-woo stuff, or like some extreme religious thing. It's not either of those. It's just on a spiritual level who I am and what that means. Like, what is the capability of the spiritual side of myself? Like, I want to know I want to be able to tap in the whole of everything this offers, not just externally, internally, but all aspects of like every single sense that I have, and the power of each of those senses, the potential of the power of each of those senses, and bring them all together to do this crazy ass awesome tool to tap into, to get me where I want to go, to get to that, like what Napoleon Hill calls like that infinite intelligence, and just bringing all of my capabilities into that. This is not so that it's just about me, but I just feel like I've my whole life totally underutilized everything that I'm capable of. And it really freaking frustrates me that I haven't tapped into all of that. It's kind of like that saying when people talk about like we only use 10% of our brain, that whole big giant brain that does all the super amazing stuff, and we're only using 10% of it. Like, what a waste. And so I just want, what would make me feel grounded and secure is knowing that I'm accessing more of what goes on inside of this complex creation, to its, to a higher level of potential, and making sure that I'm not always looking externally when I can, from within, pull something out and help move me and others forward. So that's something that I feel will get me way super grounded. Like if I can get like even just a baseline, but ideally more of a mastery level this year, that would be amazing. And that would make me feel absolutely grounded. Like I would feel like truly in that place of complete personal freedom where absolutely nothing is going to hold me back. And when I say hold me back, I just mean like I fearlessly move forward with confidence. Doesn't mean things won't scare me. Doesn't mean things won't worry me and that kind of stuff. I still have to work through all that stuff. But that's what I feel like will ground and secure me this year for 2019, starting this year, 2019.
That was an awesome question.
It is very thought-provoking. We'd love to hear what you guys have to say. It doesn't have to be like crazy deep, but actually at the same time it kind of does, because we're talking about what grounds you and secures you. Like that's major. That's something really major. But it could be an add-on, or it could be like a whole thing, like, to what you already have going on. So what would that look like for you? Maybe you don't know the answer right now. You just need to think about it.
Well, and who doesn't want to feel more grounded and secure, right? I mean, you turn on the news and the world is so scary right now. It's like, I love that we have the ability to learn things and empower ourselves to be fearless or move, just like you said, authentically forward on our own volition. It's our responsibility, and we can live that kind of life even in a world like we have. To me that's amazing.
Yeah, I agree.
So too.
But it's going to require us taking care of our health, which is what Michelle's really focused on right now with what the next steps are for her grounding and security. But we also need a plan, which is what Kelly's focusing on this year. Like all of those pieces together, it's never just one. We were just talking about right before we went online with you guys, before we went live, is that the most amazing things that we want to have in life, there's never just one thing that makes it happen. Everyone wants to find the easy button. What's the one thing, right? And but it's even that one thing, even if there's hierarchically one thing that stands out above the others, it can't stand on its own. It's standing on something else, and we need all of those extra pieces involved to make it all happen. So hopefully you guys are exploring all of the different sides of you, all of the different capabilities within you, and all your ability to create the future and the legacy. We talk a lot about legacy here in HEROMOM. Hopefully you guys are really thinking about all the moving parts and pieces, all the people that need to be in your life, all the resources, all the work on yourself that is required to get you to that place where you're living into your life. Like right now, you're living your legacy life, not waiting till the end of your life and go, cool, I made it. No, I mean, yeah, you want that too, but like experience it all the way through, to the point where you're like, yes, the whole way. I don't know. That's what I'm thinking. That sounds super positive to me.
He's like, whatever. Let's do the damn thing.
Did you guys have anything else that you wanted to add?
Oh, I don't know. I feel so good today. I could add 10,000 things, but I think
that's good.
I think that's a great start. I mean, There's a lot of stuff to think about, a lot of heavy stuff to think about. And, you know, I hope that everybody that's watching, we have a lot of new people on this morning. And just to give you guys kind of an idea, we do this every morning, Monday through Friday. And we start with a quick breathing exercise to get ourselves more grounded. Hello. And then we move into gratitude. We do gratitude every day. And then we answer a question. It's not always as profound of a question as we had today, but something thought provoking. So we're starting, you know, setting our intention for the day and setting basically the mood for the day with, you know, proactively doing these things. And we do them every morning, Monday through Friday. So if you liked it, come back tomorrow.
Yeah.
Yes.
It's really important, you guys, especially when you know what you've got coming up in the week. And hopefully you do know what you have coming up in the week. But it's really important because when we hang up now and go on to the next thing that we're going to do, we're so much more like, yeah, let's go do it. Like, let's conquer it. Like, we look in our, you know, in our calendar of what we have going on today and just be like, how can I bring the positivity I feel right now from what I just talked about into that? And then into the next appointment and into my workout and into how I prepare the food that I'm going to nourish my body with at lunchtime, and how I interact with my kids, and how I interact with my spouse, and how I interact with my customers, my clients, my friends, my teammates. Like, all of the things that go on in your day should be like led with, driven by this positive experience that you want to have, not just in this moment with yourself or what you're sharing with us, but in everything that you do throughout the day. That's what we're talking about. Like, create that positive experience that you walk away from the day and just go, yes, today I won, right?
Yeah.
Because you chose the experience you wanted and you made that happen. So we encourage you guys, if you love these conversations, click on that link, join us in Hero Mom Nation. It is for women only. Dudes, get your ladies in on it, man. Have them join this crowd of people who are really, really amazing women. I'm not just talking about us. We're pretty cool too. I don't mean that in a like boastful ego way. I just mean it's like we're working hard towards being the best version of ourselves, and it's good for people to be around people who are like that. We surround ourselves with people who are like that. In Hero Mom Nation, they're all like that. They're going for it. They're not settling. They're changing. They're choosing to change their lives, and they're working very hard to proactively create the reality that they want. And these are all positive realities. So if you want the women in your life, or if you're a woman and you want to be around people like that, you've got to get into Hero Mom Nation and join us. We talk a lot about health because we believe that mastering your health is how you get that secure feeling where you start getting into that place of, you know, what we call body intelligence, where you're self-supportive, you're self-secure, like you're really being the one who's elevating yourself. Not because, again, it's not about ego, it's about self-belief. Like, we have to have that confidence to move forward so that we can live into our ambitions and our aspirations, because there's so much more for you guys to do in this world and experience and to have. So we love you guys. Thank you so much for joining us. We'll see you tomorrow morning.
Yay. Bye, guys.